Hey there, I'm Jim Rohn, and if you're watching this, chances are your heart's tangled in a question that keeps you up at night. Will my avoidant ex ever come back? Maybe you're replaying every moment of your breakup, wondering if their distance was your fault or if they're gone for good. That emotional roller coaster, the hope, the doubt, the what-ifs, it's exhausting, isn't it? You're not alone, and I'm here to help you make sense of it all. As a relationship coach who's worked with countless people navigating the confusion of an avoidant partner, I know how their push-pull behavior can leave you feeling stuck, second-guessing yourself. One day they're close, the next they're a million miles away. It's like trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces. But here's the thing, understanding why they act this way and what it means for your future can change everything. That's exactly what we're diving into today. In this video, I'm peeling back the layers of avoidant attachment. You'll discover the surprising reasons behind their withdrawal, whether they're likely to return, and most importantly, what you can do to find clarity and peace no matter what happens. I'm not here to give you false hope or generic advice. We're going deep, with insights that might just shift how you see your ex, yourself, and your next steps. So stick with me until the end. I promise it'll be worth it. If you're ready to unravel this mystery and take control of your heart, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon. Join our community of people just like you, all learning to navigate love with confidence. Let's figure this out together, because you deserve answers, and I'm here to deliver them. Will my avoidant ex come back? It's the question that loops in your mind, especially after a breakup that felt either painfully slow or shockingly abrupt. When your heart is still tethered to someone emotionally, it's natural to hope for their return, to wonder if they'll realize what they lost and make their way back to you. And the truth is, yes. Avoidant partners do often come back, whether they lean more dismissive or fearful in their attachment style. It's not uncommon for them to reach out again. But there's a catch. This typically happens after a period of no contact. No contact isn't a game. It's not about reverse psychology or making someone miss you. It's about reclaiming your energy from someone who treated you like an option, who couldn't hold emotional space for the connection you offered. It's about stepping away not to punish them but to protect you. Because chasing someone who pulls away is a form of self-abandonment, and healing can't happen while you're still clinging to the hope that they'll come back and fill the void they created. That said, no contact does tend to trigger the avoidance curiosity or regret if they haven't fully processed their feelings, or if the space gives them time to reflect. When you stop reaching out, stop explaining yourself, stop trying to fix the disconnection, they're left with silence. And in that silence, they may finally feel the weight of your absence. But here's what matters more. Your healing doesn't depend on them returning. The goal isn't to get them back. The real win is becoming whole again, stronger, clearer, and no longer willing to accept love that's inconsistent or conditional. So yes, they may come back. But the question you'll need to ask yourself by then is, will I still want the version of love they're able to offer? Because when you've done the work, when you've honored your worth through no contact, you're no longer waiting, you're rising. When it comes to avoidant behavior, especially in dismissive or fearful avoidant individuals, what looks like a sudden breakup on the surface is usually the result of a slow, internal emotional unraveling. For the dismissive avoidant, intimacy itself is the trigger. As you begin to get closer, as emotional connection builds and real closeness starts to take shape, it activates their deepest wound, the fear that intimacy equals engulfment or exposure. Even minor disagreements, which are completely normal in any healthy relationship, can feel catastrophic to them. A small conflict might spiral in their mind as undeniable proof that the relationship is doomed. They start telling themselves, this won't work, we're not compatible, they're asking too much of me. It's not always a conscious process, but it is a powerful one. And before you know it, they're gone. Often what they're really reacting to isn't you, but the weight of expectations. Maybe you asked for a bit more communication, a little more emotional presence or signs of commitment. Things that are completely reasonable in a secure relationship. But for the dismissive avoidant, those requests hit a nerve. Many of them grew up in environments where they were either harshly judged or expected to meet emotional needs that were never clearly defined or achievable. So now as adults, even the simplest expectation can feel suffocating. They interpret your request not as a healthy need, but as pressure they're destined to fail. And when that internal pressure becomes too great, the only way they know how to cope is to disconnect, emotionally or physically. For the fearful avoidant, the dynamic looks a little different, but it's just as painful. Instead of immediately fleeing, they often stay while quietly suppressing their needs. These individuals typically struggle with expressing how they feel because they've internalized the belief that vulnerability leads to rejection. So rather than speak up, they stuff their frustrations down. Over time, those unspoken needs turn into resentment, not because you did anything wrong, but because they never felt safe enough to ask for what they needed. That resentment grows silently and steadily until one day, they're gone. To you, it feels sudden, blindsiding, but for them, it's been building all along. This is why understanding avoidant behavior matters. Not so you can excuse poor treatment, but so you can stop personalizing it. Whether they're running from your expectations or from their own emotions, it's not a reflection of your worth. Their avoidance is about their discomfort with closeness, not a verdict on your value. Whether your avoidant ex left suddenly or pulled away slowly over time, the core driver was the same: fear. When emotional closeness starts to deepen, it triggers old wounds. Wounds rooted in a belief that intimacy is unsafe, that expectations will overwhelm them, or that being vulnerable will inevitably lead to pain. So they do what they've always done to protect themselves. They shut down, disconnect, and run. But here's where the dynamic begins to shift: when you go into no contact. No contact is not a trick to get them back, it's a boundary, a space you create not only for your own healing, but ironically, it's also the one thing that allows them to feel emotionally safe again. Avoidants don't regulate their anxiety through connection like someone with an anxious attachment might. They regulate it through distance. And when you stop chasing, stop reaching out, stop trying to fix the disconnection, that space gives them a chance to actually feel the loss of you. For the first time, they're not being distracted by your energy, your texts, your efforts. They're alone with the silence. And in that silence, something crucial happens. They begin to feel again. See, when avoidants are triggered, their go-to move is emotional shutdown. They suppress the love, the care, the memories, because to feel them would be too overwhelming. They bury it all. But when you stop pursuing, you unintentionally signal to their nervous system that the threat of closeness has passed. They start to relax. And as that anxiety lowers, those once buried feelings can start to resurface. They may begin to recall moments with you, the connection, the comfort, the good times. And if they're fearful avoidant, there's often a stronger internal tug, because that anxious part of them does crave closeness, even though the avoidant part is terrified of it. So yes, in many cases, this leads to them testing the waters. They might send a vague message, react to your story, or reach out with something seemingly casual just to see if you'll still respond, if the door is still open. Sometimes it's just a bid for validation. Am I still wanted? Other times it's a genuine attempt to re-enter the relationship. But make no mistake, just because they reach out doesn't mean they've done the emotional work. In fact, most of the time, if they do try to come back, they'll want to slide right back in without discussing the breakup or their part in it. They'll pretend like nothing happened, like you can just pick up where you left off. This is where your growth matters most. Yes, avoidants often come back, but the real question is, do you want the same dynamic again, or are you ready for something healthier? No contact gives you the space to ask that question from a place of strength, not desperation. And that is where your power lies. If your avoidant ex does come back, but they haven't done any real inner work, no reflection, no responsibility, no effort toward healing, then letting them back in without boundaries is like walking into the same fire and hoping you won't get burned. It's easy to romanticize their return, to believe that maybe this time things will be different. But here's the reality. If the underlying attachment wounds are still there, untouched and unexamined, then so are the same triggers, the same emotional shutdowns, the same avoidant behaviors. Nothing has changed except the time apart. And time alone doesn't heal wounds that are being avoided. It just buries them deeper. If this person hasn't taken active steps to face their fears of closeness through therapy, self-awareness, or emotional accountability, then nothing will stop the same cycle from repeating. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually something in the relationship will touch that old nerve and they'll run again. It's not a matter of if, but when. And unless they've built the tools to stay present through discomfort, they'll fall back into the only pattern they know: distance. It's a hard truth, but one worth sitting with, because choosing to re-enter a relationship with someone who hasn't changed is not romantic, it's risky. And as much as your heart may want to believe in their return, love without growth only sets you up for more pain. Think about it. If someone leaves you when you're vulnerable, then comes back offering no clarity, no accountability, no evidence of internal change, why would this time be different? What would stop them from repeating the exact same pattern? There's a saying, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again expecting a different result. That applies here. If they're not different, if the dynamic is the same, the outcome will almost certainly be the same too. So if they show up again wanting back in, you have every right to pause. You're under no obligation to accept them with open arms just because they finally remembered what they lost. You're not being cold or unforgiving by protecting your peace. You're honoring your healing. It's okay to say, I care about you, but I can't put myself through that again. What I went through hurt deeply, and I need more than just words to consider opening that door again. You're allowed to require more. You're allowed to ask for proof of growth. And you're absolutely allowed to walk away from anyone who once made you feel like you weren't enough. Because you were. You always were. And now it's time to be enough for yourself first. If you're considering giving your avoidant ex another chance, it's absolutely crucial that the reunion comes with conditions, not out of punishment, but out of self-respect. Unconditional return after emotional abandonment only teaches them that they can exit without accountability and still be welcomed back into your life whenever they choose. That's not love. That's self-sacrifice. So if they want back in, the door shouldn't just swing open. It should come with requirements, real, measurable steps toward emotional growth. That could look like committing to therapy, diving into books on attachment, engaging in relationship coaching, listening to podcasts about healing, something that shows they're not just sorry, but serious. If they aren't doing any of this, if they come back with empty words but no action, it's a sign that nothing has changed. They're still avoiding the inner work. And if they continue to avoid themselves, they'll eventually avoid you again. The most loving thing you can do for your heart is walk away if they're not ready to show up differently. Being abandoned by an avoidant partner once is already a deep cut. Having it happen again and again doesn't make the pain more manageable, it only reinforces the wound. You don't need to relive that cycle to prove your love or loyalty. You're not here to rescue someone who doesn't want to face themselves. You deserve someone who chooses you and chooses growth, someone who meets you where you are, not someone who disappears when it gets too real. Please remember this. You are worthy of a love that stays. You are worthy of peace, consistency, and care. Don't settle for anything less. As we come to the end of this video, I want to leave you with this reminder. Being in a relationship with an avoidant partner can leave you questioning everything, your worth, your expectations, your sanity. But the truth is, you were never asking for too much. You were simply asking the wrong person to meet you at a level of emotional depth they hadn't yet developed the tools to handle. Whether they come back or not, whether they change or not, your healing can't hinge on their growth. It has to start with you choosing you. We've talked about how avoidants often run when intimacy feels too close, how they may come back when space helps them feel safe again, and how easy it is to fall into the same cycle if nothing has truly changed. But growth doesn't happen through promises. It happens through action. If someone wants to be in your life again, it should be because they've done the work, not because they're looking for comfort without responsibility. And you're allowed, more than that, empowered to protect your peace until they prove they can meet you with emotional maturity. Thank you so much for watching this video and being willing to explore these often painful but important truths about love, attachment, and healing. If this resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel so you never miss more content on relationships, secure attachment, and personal growth. And I'd truly love to hear from you. Have you experienced this kind of dynamic? Did your avoidant ex come back, and how did you handle it? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Until next time, remember, real love doesn't run from intimacy. It rises to meet it, and you deserve nothing less.